Hi! So I finished Surpassing Certainty, but I didn't plan very well to be here. As you can see, I'm not at my house. I'm at my parents' house. My sister's in town for the first time in a few months, and I am recording this video right now, but I didn't bring any of my stuff, so I'm gonna have a lot of pictures of things. So, Surpassing Certainty, this is the book that I finished, and it was really, really good. It was a great piece of nonfiction. Like I told you guys last week, I don't really read nonfiction a lot, so I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this book. It's a memoir by Janet Mock. She's a transgender woman and she's done a lot of things, and what I said about her in my blurb last week about how she was just like a first-generation college student and also a stripper was completely reductive to her entire being. She's absolutely incredible. Not only is she first generation college, but she went to NYU for journalism, for grad school. She worked her way up in the editorial and fashion industry, and she was completely self-sufficient throughout her entire 20s, which is amazing. I completely related to her, both in necessity and in drive to be on her own and to support herself, because I felt that a lot. In my 20s, I've always wanted to just be really self-sufficient, and my dad and my stepdad especially have both said, they're like, you're very much taking care of yourself. So I related to her a lot. She did what she needed to do to survive, and that felt really true to life. This is my life too. So it was amazing to read her story. So the through line in her 20s is her relationship with this man named Troy, who she met while she was dancing in her strip club. She just fell in this mad, passionate love with him. And he was in the army, I think. And he did a lot of administrative stuff because of his leg. He had a knee thing. So she fell in love with this man, and he was a big presence throughout her entire 20s. I don't want to get into it too much because I think it's a book that if you're interested in it, you should pick it up and read it. And I don't want to it's her real life, so there's not really spoilers, but you know what I mean. There's this one quote that I want to talk about that really kind of moved me. Just as quickly as someone enters, they can leave. People make mistakes, they disappoint, and you're left with yourself. Being alone is unbearable when you've enjoyed a reprieve of togetherness. I believed in the power of companionship. What I did not know then was that no one can heal you. You must learn to be your own company, your own cure. You cannot retreat into someone else for fulfillment. I love that. I loved that quote because I feel like so often I try to find my happiness and my fulfillment in other people because I'm so afraid of being alone. And I do a lot of things by myself. I'll go out to dinner by myself. I go to shows and concerts by myself. And I'm really comfortable in doing that, but I'm also really afraid of not having anyone. And I think that that quote kind of encompasses what I need to kind of learn and enact better in my life. So she's incredibly inspirational in all the stuff she wrote. She's also moved to New York. She went to NYU for grad school, and New York was kind of her dream place that she wanted to go to because it was big in fashion, it was big in journalism, and those were the things she was passionate about. And I so relate to that as well. New York is kind of my dream, not so much for those specific reasons, but just because I've always just felt this strong connection to the city, and every time I go there I feel very at home. I feel very comfortable. I feel like I belong there. Feeling how she felt about it and seeing that reflected in me really was so good to read. So there's another quote that I really want to read where she talks about New York that kind of reflects how I feel about it. For me, New York was a chalkboard waiting to be filled in. I could erase myself and draw a new existence. The city allowed for anyone to come as they wanted to be. That open possibility of New York, I completely feel that and want that and relate to that. I saw a lot of things in Janet that I see in myself, and I saw so much of myself in the way that she talks about New York and the way that she talks about being alone in a lot of different ways in this book, and I think that's what made it so enjoyable for me to read. She's so inspiring to me on so many levels. She makes me feel like I want to push harder and work harder and find my New York City dream and become what I want to be. She worked so hard. She worked her way through the journalism chain and worked her way up through Time Inc. and took internships where she needed to and she worked hard for everything she has, and she was able to really push through and become this amazing activist and person and woman. She's amazing. This is her second memoir, and it's so, so incredible. I love her. I followed her on Twitter, and I'm really excited to follow her and see what else she's doing with life, and I will read anything else she comes out with because I really enjoyed this book. Editing Taylor here again. We have to stop meeting like this. I forgot to say that I rate Surpassing Certainty 4 out of 5. I really did enjoy it, as I say a lot in the main portion of this video, but I forgot to rate it. So 4 out of 5 for Surpassing Certainty. What am I reading next? The book that I'm reading next, I thought I'd go a little bit lighter. It's again outside of YA, Adultolescence by Gabby Hanna. Gabby Hanna is a YouTuber. Her book came in the office and it just looks really super interesting. It's a book of poetry, and I'm gonna read this blurb really quick off of Amazon because I don't have the book on me. In poems ranging from the sing-song rhythms of children's verses to a sophisticated confessional style, Gabby explores what it means to feel like a kid and an adult all at once, revealing her own longings, obsessions, and insecurities along the way. Adultolescence announces the arrival of a brilliant new voice with a magical ability to connect through alienation, cut to the profound with internet slang, and detonate wickedly funny jokes between moments of existential dread. You'll turn to the last page because you get her, and you'll return to the first because she gets you. So I don't generally read a lot of poetry books either. Like I've said before, I read a lot of YA, but I thought I'd pick that up since Surpassing Certainty was a little bit heavier since it was a nonfiction. I thought I'd go a little bit lighter and do poetry. So I'm really excited to read Adultolescence. That's next. I think that's it. I really enjoyed Surpassing Certainty. If you're looking for a good memoir to read, Janet Mock's Surpassing Certainty is amazing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week with Adultolescence.